Hello, hello, everybody. God, I had to stop myself from doing the silly voice. I was gonna do it. I was like, no, no, serious. But my brain's just like, no, you're not gonna be
Serious.
serious today. But I need to be serious. Anyways, hello, hello, everybody, and welcome.
Serious.
Welcome to today's Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Fable, and today I will be playing Antler. With me today is the talented, the super cool.
Hello, it is me, Ars Obsessions, also known as Avi, and today I am playing, as usual, for all of these Rundle things, Ruby Red, the little wizard extraordinaire.
Little wizard extraordinaire who we know and love.
Absolute gremlin.
Who we know, love, and occasionally fear. But, so,
Fine, everything's fine.
yeah. I want to say this takes place within. Probably within. Well, because this takes place after the events of Dream Within a Dream. And,
Oh yeah.
And immediately
It has
after
to
that.
take place after, not during.
No,
Good
yeah,
golly.
yeah, during. Oh boy, some shit happened,
Ooh.
folks. If you haven't listened to those games, you might want to, because that's gonna give context to what's gonna be happening here. Anyways,
Yep.
so anyways, yeah. So as soon as the events, after the whole Mind Flayer debacle, Antler went to bed for 12 hours. He got up for a little bit, got food, and went back to bed. And then slept for like another few. He slept for another few hours because he woke up at night, and it was just like, well, it's nighttime. I should probably just go back to sleep and wake up in the morning, and that fixed my sleep schedule. And fix my sleep schedule. That was his plan. That is what he is doing. Ruby Red, what are you doing?
Oh gosh, I feel like Ruby is in a similar boat, but not exactly the same. Freaking the moment they have finished like dealing with the mind flayers and everything, she goes up to the treehouse with Blake and sleeps for so long.
Everyone just sleeps.
Sleep.
And get actual rest, because technically in the Mindscape they technically could be counted as sleeping, but it wasn't resting, so.
But also not sleeping. It was like that kind of sleep where you sleep but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that kind of sleep? It sucks. I've had that kind of sleep. It's rough.
I want to equate it to like waking up from surgery, where yes, you've been out, but also your body is just tired. Your body is still tired, and you are not awake. But I won't get into that. Anyways, I would say it has been about roughly 2-ish days since the events of the Mind Flayer incident.
Yeah. That makes sense. 2 days.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say for this, you know what? It's not. It's not early in the morning. I'm gonna say people have slept in today.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Ruby, you seem to be the first. You seem to be oddly the first one up.
Well, that's kind of typical. I've always imagined Ruby as an early riser.
That's true.
Wakes up with the sun.
That's true. That's true.
Today though.
But often
the sun's been up for a bit.
Yeah. But oftentimes, even though you are an early riser, there is at least one person who is an earlier riser than you. But even he does not seem to be up yet.
Yeah. Gosh, like sometimes when you wake up and you could just feel like your stomach just curling in on itself from hunger.
Yeah.
I feel like that's Ruby as she wakes up today.
It's time for food.
Time for food.
Time for nom-noms.
And it is time to make food. Sustenance. Freaking just picturing Ruby like at the top of the treehouse, who has woken up before Blake somehow. Just hopping down and slowly floating to the ground before.
She has the ring of feather. She has that featherfall ring.
She sure does. The ring, which isn't cursed, you can't prove anything anyway.
God, a part of me is just like, if she were to, and I feel like that entire time floating down, she'd be doing the morning routine of brushing her hair, brushing her teeth, as she's just slowly going down.
I mean, you don't know, maybe she's putting her hair into a bun as she's going down.
How good of a bun?
Let me roll performance.
This is important. This is important.
Awful.
Terrible. Sleepy.
Terrible.
Bedhead bun. It's a bedhead bun.
Bedhead bun.
Not even brushed. She just clumped it together and just tied it off.
It looks like a little bird's nest is on top of her head.
What matters to her is that it's out of her face.
Yep. It is out of her face.
That is the most functional it is. God.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
out of her face, and she is heading to the kitchen.
Yeah, there's still plenty of the castle that's still not gooped. Again, like literally half the town did in fact show up to help clean. So at the very least, like the goop and you know,
it no longer smells like squished brains.
Yeah, it's like it smells like they went heavy with the detergent and the bleach. It's clean. It's clean. It's just a case of there's definitely claw marks
that artificial clean smell.
Yeah. It's just a case of there are some parts of the wall that got claw marks, or like there's definitely some loose stones on the floor. It's just little tiny things that need to get clean.
Yeah.
That need to get
claw
fixed
marks.
up.
And this time they aren't even from Ruby.
They aren't from Ruby. Yeah, the hallway to Doc Matters lab has seen better days.
Yeah. It definitely has, probably. I'm just imagining, like, the whole ground just covered in claw marks, and that one section that got freaking spelled and destroyed.
Oh god, yeah. It's a mess, but it smells clean.
It smells better than it did.
One saving grace. But yeah, you head to the kitchen. You are the first person in.
Cool.
Ruby usually doesn't eat much for breakfast, though, huh?
Yeah. Normally she satisfies herself with an apple and a toast and calls it a day.
Yeah. Well, because, it's always funny. You see in shows, they always have the breakfast be something big, and it's like, no, breakfast is
something
usually...
small.
Yeah, usually breakfast is like the lightest meal of the day. It's just something to get you started. Get you started, and usually once your body's a bit more awake and ready for food, that's when lunch is.
Yes, but also consider, it's been a couple days since a really rough incident, and sometimes you're just sitting there like, I want a big breakfast.
Oh no, yeah. Then there are those days when you do wake up hungry.
The biggest breakfast.
And you do need food. You need legit food first thing in the morning. No, that is also true.
This is one of those days.
What is the Ruby make? What is the Miss Ruby Red making?
Yes. She's gonna make a lot of things.
Oh my god.
Eggs, toast, bacon. She's gonna attempt pancakes. Whether or not that goes well, we'll find out soon.
Alright, I assume that she knows how to cook eggs and pancakes, so I'm... Sorry, eggs and bacon.
Eggs, bacon, and toast. Pancakes are another matter entirely.
Alright then,
Gosh, please just picture her summoning Oliver.
I feel like
and Oliver just sitting there like, what are we doing? Oh no.
I feel like I should make you roll survival, because I feel like that's
survival.
I feel like that's what you would do when figuring out how to cook something, or in this case, bake.
Yeah.
Because you do not cook bread products; you bake them.
Oh man, it is fun fact time. This is like the one thing in wisdom Ruby has proficiency in without the help of items.
So one thing that's not a negative.
Yep. Well, not a flat 0.
Not a flat 0.
Oh, but that's a 21!
That's a 21. Oh man. Ruby, like, I feel like the smell that's coming out of the kitchen is like the most amazing breakfast smell of all time, because you've got got eggs, you've got bacon, you've got like you got the pancakes going and the toast.
Yeah.
Like the best smell is currently wafting out of the
Although
kitchen.
I must stress, even though it's wonderful, the toast is still burnt. Ruby likes burnt toast.
No, that's not surprising to me. And this is where I roll a deep perception. Boop.
Perception.
It's an 8.
8.
It's an 8. Slow riser. Listen, Antler has been tired, and even though he did just
Mm-hmm.
sleep for 12 hours, he's still very tired, and so I think
Mm-hmm.
it takes him. I am not saying that the smell does not reach him, and he does not maybe start sleepily floating towards it in a very toonish fashion, but he's also extremely tired, so it takes him a hot minute to get down. It takes him a hot minute to get down. Actually, no, you know what I'm gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I just remembered that there is a staircase
Mm-hmm.
that by the kitchen from the second floor, and this man is
Oh
very
no.
tired. And guess
Oh
what? He
no.
has no modifiers for his deck save. It's a 10. Hey Ruby, you're probably about you've gotten a good stack of pancakes made when you suddenly hear a boom crash bang bong and then just a and then a few seconds later Antler walks in with a hand slightly on his head, and he's got like a few of those toonish scuff marks.
Ruby's just standing there, like kind of at the counter, and like part of like breakfast has been like moved to the table, and she's just looking at Antler like, "Are you all right? Was that you?"
Fine, fine. I'll survive. I,
Are you sure? It sounded like there was a whole lot of. Was there a cat at some point? Is there a cat here?
no, 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 no. That's just a sound effect. Do not worry about it.
Oh, it's more tune things. Okay.
Yes, yes, it is just two things. I am fine. I simply had a small trip down the stairs. Are you making breakfast?
Mm. Uh, yes, I am. Made it all myself. And then there's a little ahem from behind Ruby as
With
Oliver's standing there with like a little platter on his back.
with some help, I imagine.
Yes, with some help. Thank you, Oliver. And Ruby gives like Oliver a little thumbs up. And like Oliver doesn't have hooves, but he doesn't have thumbs, I mean, but he lifts up a hoof like he's making a thumbs up back.
Well, don't let me interrupt your breakfast. I am just going to get something from the fridge. And he starts going towards the fridge to get something.
I feel like Ruby kind of like pauses for a second as she looks at like all the food she made. You know like when you're sometimes making food and then you make
A lot.
way more food than you realize you can eat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're so hungry and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the perfect amount of food for you." And you make like enough for 7 people.
So Ruby, you are looking at the table filled with more food than you or even Oliver could finish by yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, after a second, Ruby just pipes up. Actually, I may have made too much if you just want to, you know. And she just gestures towards the table.
Oh, uh, he actually looks at the table. Uh,
Mhm.
are you sure?
Yeah, of course I'm sure.
Hmm.
Come on, let's not let the eggs or the pancakes get cold. They're better fresh. And
Hmm.
like Ruby just very cheekily hops up on one of the seats and starts helping herself.
I think it takes Antler a moment longer to join Ruby, and partially because he got a drink for himself real quick,
Hmm.
and I will say he does not normally drink coffee, but actually no, he goes looking through the kitchen. It's just like, where has the coffee gone? Didn't we have
Oh,
some?
back corner in that cabinet, and like Ruby points at the cabinet furthest away from the door.
And
Had to hide it from the dog.
I see. That is probably wise. Though you may want to think of installing a lock. Distance will only.
No, that is a good point.
Distance will only stop the Mad Doctor for so long. He says as he is going to brew himself just a quick cup of coffee.
Cuppa.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
just a single cup. I think he has that like realization that like he's not gonna finish. He just wants one cup, and so he looks at like the rest that's been brewed, and he kind of just looks towards the kitchen door, before pouring the rest down the sink.
Yeah.
He just has his one like he just wants his one mug, but he does not want to leave this out for a certain doctor to come and grab.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he dunks it in the sink and then goes to join Ruby at the table.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's see.
Actually, real quick, does Antler want to make a perception check?
Yeah, I can make a perception.
Just a real quick one.
Where's my perception? There it is. 16.
16. Yeah, the DC wasn't that high, especially because Antler is aware of Ruby's shadow.
Yeah.
The little shadow pup from wherever Ruby is sitting, whatever direction the light is pointing it towards, it's just kind of sulking. It takes notice that you've noticed it before going back to like not looking at anyone in particular.
Antler hums at that before hums, taking acknowledgement of that, and sitting down at the table to look at the spread that Ruby has made. I can't lie, he is checking to see if anything is burned. He is not surprised to see that the toast is plenty burnt.
Yeah. The toast is like mere steps away from being charcoal. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think he will take some eggs, bacon, and maybe a pancake. But he will leave the toast to Ruby.
Yeah. Yeah, more for her. She just smothers them in butter and starts crunching away.
God, how are Ruby's table manners?
You know that one GIF in Hell's Moving Castle?
Yep,
with
I know
kid just
yep.
Devouring.
Just scarfing it. I think Antler watches this for like a few moments before just sighing and goes, "Stop. Where did you learn? Where did you learn how to eat?"
What do you mean? Like Ruby says with a full mouth rubbing at her face.
If I did not know any better, I would say you are just a plain toon. And he will take his fork and his knife and show her how to actually, cut your food into bite-sized portions and eat them without making a mess or possibly choking. Because frankly, at the rate you are eating, you are going to choke. And one of these days, and I might not be here or be in the mood to save you from your own poor manners.
Well, it hasn't done anything to me so far, Ruby says, but she is attempting to do the smaller bites now.
And you say that, and Antler, roll perception, Ruby.
Oh my gosh. Perception. Boop.
4. Good. So Ruby read. For folks at home, when Ruby says that, Antler glances to the side of her and just manages to see a small little Jinx fairy poof into existence and slip a card into Ruby's pocket before poofing. And Antler will then look at Ruby and go, "You may wish to knock on wood, just in case."
Ruby just sighs. I don't know why everyone's telling me to do this all the time.
And to audiences at home, both you and Antler see the card that's slightly sticking out of her pocket just poof.
Ruby's none the wiser.
None the wiser. She's never seen the Jinx fairy, which makes me really happy. this dumb joke that I made because Ruby says shit that is just begging for things to happen.
Yep. Exactly.
Anyway,
Listen, she's not a tune. She doesn't know the rules.
I know, it's so funny. One day that Jinx card will stay, and Ruby will face the consequences of jinxing herself. But anyways, I think for most of breakfast, Antler's pretty quiet as he's eating. Though I think occasionally he takes glances up at Ruby and down at her shadow, and I'm gonna roll an insight real quick. And this is Antler trying to peg how Ruby seems to be doing. 21.
What does Ruby seem to be doing? Oh, this is a question I wasn't considering until now. Ruby seems gosh, I'm trying to think how to put it. Like, obviously the mind flayer thing happened only a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So maybe she's like a little disheveled because it's still been only a couple days since then.
Yeah.
And those events are very fresh in the mind. But like in regards to like she seems to be doing fine otherwise. And in regards to the shadow, she just seems kind of pointedly ignoring it. But you did get like a 21, so you do occasionally catch her like glancing down at it as it sulks. Before just going back to ignoring it and focusing on finishing her own breakfast.
I think about close to maybe once they're both like halfway through with their food, he eventually will speak up and go, "Have you two spoken at all?"
Oh, Ruby kind of blinks before she looks at the shadow, and like the shadow just kind of shares the same look before it very pointedly looks away again. No, not really. I mean, I've tried, but he's being quiet. Hasn't talked at all since the whole mind flayer stuff. Which is not normal. Normally, there's at least a death threat.
And I think what I think what Antler is going to do is he is going to wave a hand and cast he's going to cast dancing lights, and he's going to move it around Ruby so that way the wolf's shadow is now over the table.
Ooh, okay. I think like Ruby's watching this in mild curiosity as the shadow is abruptly moved to the table, and it just kind of blinks before looking up at the others.
Antler just moves his plate to the side and just goes, "Come on now, you cannot sulk forever. And soon and the wizard who is helping remove you two from each other is here now, so."
I think it's just kind of shying away slightly, which compared to the last time you saw this thing is definitely the opposite of what it normally would do.
Antler.
Then again, it's very small and puppy shaped at the moment.
No, and Antler is just incredibly calm right now, and just I am not going to make any sort of threat towards you, because quite frankly, and actually he will gonna. Oh, that's a 1. That is a fumble. That's a fumble. He reaches into his hammer space and he pulls out a small handkerchief, frowns, goes, "Wait, no, hold on." It's a 9, there we go. He then pulls out the little black book that records his dreams, and he will just flip through the pages and open it up to where it has recorded the fight between the Ruin Crew and the Shadow Wolf. "I have been caught up as to your little adventures within the mindscape. And while I don't entirely approve, I do understand." And he will actually...
There's kind of like a soft, like whining sound which is probably the first time you've heard the shadow like make any sort of sound
Hmm.
besides like huffs and growls.
Hmm. I think at that he actually will hand the book over to Ruby to let her look through it. Just to give her something to do while he's talking to the wolf.
Oh yeah, you've given Ruby something to read. She's immediately like, "Oh, what's this?" And
It's mostly pictures. It's basically a complete recording of both his venture through the mindscape as well as your. It's basically a complete picture recording of the
ooh.
mindscape adventure, because this book, this little black book, basically records. Its initial function is that it records your dreams while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
An Antler had picked it up out of curiosity, but he decided to use this while he was under to give basically the
Mm-hmm.
crew a sort of a heads up or insight essentially
Mm-hmm.
into what was happening inside
Yeah.
inside his head.
Yeah.
But it happened to also record what the others, since all the mindscapes were connected to his, the book was also able to
Mm-hmm.
record your adventures as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll accept the pages of Xanadu. Those pages are blank.
Hmm.
But anyways,
Blank
back to the
pages.
conversation.
Yeah.
Antler will look down at the wolf and just go. I I spent over 200 years in a cauldron, so I can understand to some degree what it feels like to be stuck somewhere you don't want to be, and the desperation that comes with wanting to get out.
Hmm. I think like the shadow doesn't really say anything. Not much of a talker.
No, no, that's fine. Uh, Antler just kind of
But
just
its ears have kind of like perked up slightly.
yeah. He gives little pauses just to let it process what he's saying. Uh, as such, I can understand your willingness to be a nuisance in the mindscape. I imagine whatever deal you tried to make, if it was a deal at all and not just you causing trouble. Either way, soon enough, you and Ruby will no longer be stuck together, and you need to ask yourself where you wish to be standing when that happens.
Hmm. Hmm. Like the shadow just kind of turns its head so it's more of a profile view
Hmm.
rather than head on, and it seems to be thinking.
Uh, how do you know for sure we can even be separated?
At that, I'm gonna roll hammer space again. At that, Antler reaches behind him again and brings out a vial of glowing golden liquid, and he places it on the table. This is the same potion that brought me back to life, or to be more specific, it restored my body so that I may live again. I am willing to bet that it would be able to restore what. And he does not finish, but he does look at Ruby and glances at her arms.
Yeah. Like as soon as like Antler pulled out that potion, like Ruby originally just like glanced up and looked back at the book, but as Antler kept talking, Ruby's like full attention is now just kind of at the little potion at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the wolves.
Yeah.
They're both just kind of staring at it like, "Oh, okay."
I am willing to bet that I am willing to make. Hold on, wait. Actually, my brain went off. Second, give me a sec. Went.
Yee.
I'm gonna take a quick sip. I heard a noise and my brain immediately. My poor ADHD brain was just like, huh?
I
Noise?
gently bet you.
Noise? Noise? Noise?
Noise? Noise? Oh, wait, who the heck is calling? It's spam. Okay.
Tech spam. Go away. We're busy.
Go away.
Now, what was I saying? Okay.
We want softs.
And, okay. And Antler, as he's letting you both look at the potion, he goes, I am more than willing to bet that if this is that for the aid that this has brought me, I am more than willing to bet it will provide aid to you both. However, before I test this theory, is why I have brought Mr. Adu here. I want to be sure of the exact nature of what your condition is. And this is when he will take the potion and put it back into his hammer space.
Mm-hmm.
As well as knowing where you stand when you both are separated. And again, he will look at the shadow.
Yeah. The shadow just kind of shies back again. It kind of looks away. It's very much like has the vibes of a kid that knows they're in trouble.
Mm-hmm. And, it has just occurred to me that we do not know your name. Now, I am aware that names for demons have power there. But what would you wish to be called?
I don't particularly care at all. Never had to consider.
You might have to now.
You kind of see like the shape of it kind of like bristle slightly.
Antler,
but it doesn't really say anything.
Antler is still just calmly looking at it. Tell you what, I will give you a few things to think on. You do not need to answer them today. 1. Think of what you wish to be called. Because so far, we have only been referring to you as Shadow or Wolf, and neither of those, unless you say so, I consider appropriate names. Secondly,
Not wolf. Don't want to be called that.
Then that is not what you will be called. But you should decide what you wish to be called. But that is something for you to think on. And one more thing to think on. Because as I have said, no matter how this goes, you two will be separated. This I will make sure of. And when that happens, as it stands, it seems you have been greatly depowered from whatever occurred in the mindscape.
Yeah. It just kind of bristles again and its ears flick as it looks away.
And
it is not pleased about that fact.
I imagined before if you'd been separated, you would have made fine on your own. However, now, there is no shortage of cults in the world, or people obsessed with the demonic. I doubt you would get very far out there on your own, in the state that you are. So, here's my offer to you. When you are separated, You may continue to remain here in the castle, provided you do not cause whatever trouble you tried to cause before. Am I clear?
Crystal.
I should also clarify, this is not something I will be signing or making any demonic deal. This is me making it very clear. You can stay here, so long as you do not cause trouble.
Alright. So I'll be staying here,
If you
away
like.
from.
I will not
And
be
it-
keeping you here. I am offering you a place to stay.
It seems to be considering this for like a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. And I think after long enough, if it doesn't come up with an answer, Antler will just nod and think on those options for now. You do not need to have an answer now. But when you have one, I expect to hear from you. And he will wave a hand and dispel the dancing lights.
Yeah. The dancing lights dispel and the shadow just kind of goes back to where it once was when it was sulking.
Mm-hmm. And now
It doesn't seem to be sulking quite as much anymore. It's just kind of like watching with interest. Its head tilted slightly.
Antler is no longer the shadow is no longer Antler's attention. He has said his piece, and is going to let them go to think. But now he has turned his attention to Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, as for you,
Yes.
well, as it stands, you are no longer my employee.
Not?
No. You are not. I have no need for children in my employ, and as I have recently learned, child labor is illegal.
It is?
And Antler's ears flick down a little bit as he looks to the side. Yes, I just recently learned that. So that's aside. That's aside. You are no longer needed as my employee. That said,
Does that mean. Am I still gonna be here? Or.
the question is, do you wish to be?
I think like Ruby is just kind of like in stunned silence for a second. And she like kind of like looks down at her plate.
I think well, I want to stay. It's nice here.
Then Antler will nod, and he will, he's going to slide his plate back in front of him, take up his fork and knife. Then Ruindal is your home. And he will go back to eating.
Oh, the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Gosh, like the freaking, like, the bubble of relief that just, that's filling Ruby right now. Oh boy.
Antler is not gonna say anything more. He's going to, unless Ruby says something, he is just going to quietly eat the rest of his food.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I'm trying to think if I remember anything that Ruby was gonna do. Hmm. Hmm. This, I. Hmm. This may be an odd question, but what are we gonna do now? It always felt like we had plans for stuff, but now there's just kind of this weird limbo.
I have some things to think on about that.
That's fair.
I have been
Lots
offered
changed.
yes. I have been offered a position by the Crowned Prince to be an advisor. And that would
And
it would be an obvious choice to make considering my previous goals. You can roll insight on him if you want.
Yeah. Gonna roll insight for Ruby. That's just a d20.
Oh my god. 16.
Oh, but that's a 16.
That's enough. You see him, he glances away from you and he says his goals, which is a clear sign, at least with him, that his goals are something he is not certain about right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Toon who, you know, he would always, whenever he talked about his goals to become king again, he always spoke with just undeniable certainty that it was something that was going to happen. There was no ifs or buts about it. It was going to happen. He would be king again. But now as he talks about it, you see uncertainty on his face for possibly the first time.
Oh, my feelings, people. My feelings.
But he's quick to, unless Ruby says anything, he'll be quick to shake his head and sigh and look back at you and just go, in the meantime, I am still the mayor of Little Corner, so I at least will have things to do.
No, the thing about goals is that it doesn't have to be the same goal forever. There's always new ones you can make. And if it takes time to think of it, that's fine.
Perhaps. Still, for now, one thing at a time.
Right.
For now, it might do you good to go speak with Mr. Adu. Now that he is here, I will keep my word, Ruby.
I want to make sure I can trust him first. Because I feel like you trust him at least a bit. But I'm not so sure yet. I've made that mistake before. And she kind of trails off as she glances back at the shadow behind her.
And Antler just nods, understanding. I would argue and say that you said once that you trusted me, and I still think that to some degree is a mistake. However, with Mr. Adu, I think. And it's... I'm not going to make you roll insight. It's...
Mm-hmm.
There's a weight to when he says this of... I think that he's a very rare kind of man.
Mm.
And I think he is the kind that you can trust. And against everything I know, against everything I have come to believe and know as fact, I think you may be right. I think I might possibly trust him as well.
Mm.
But
Trust is weird.
yes, it very much is. But
Mm.
I will let you come to your own conclusions about whether to trust him. That'll be for you
Alright.
to decide.
Mm.
This might sound like it's coming out of nowhere, but what was that thing he did with the weird wand thing to give Athena the...
Do you want? I am gonna make you roll insight again.
Okay. Yeah.
Figured.
Dude, that's a nat 1. I am gonna let you have advantage because I have stated in previous games that these characters have advantage on insight with each other.
They do, and I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, I'm giving you the advantage because yikes, that's a nat 1. That's a 10.
That's a 10.
That's still not great. You see,
It's not great, but it's better than a nat 1.
I mean, it's better than a nat 1. You can tell there's thought going on. You're not quite sure what, but he's thinking about it. Thinking about it before. I am not the one who can answer that question. I do know what he did. But it is not for me to tell. That is a question you will have to ask Mr. Adu.
That's fair. Figured as much.
But you should understand that he may decide not to tell you.
I mean, again, that's fair. We all have secrets.
Indeed. And actually, he will. Is Ruby still holding the black book?
Yeah, she's been kind of like absently flipping through it as they talk, just like looking down at the pictures.
Some more than others, I suppose. I think he will hold out a hand for the book.
Yeah. Ruby, it probably takes like a couple seconds to notice that Antler's Ruby to notice that Antler's like wanting it back.
Yeah.
And she just closes it and hands it back.
He takes a moment to actually look at it, being reminded of something, and as he's putting it back, now that I am thinking about it, as much as I appreciate your clever little brain, I do not appreciate you using loopholes as a means of bullying my memories.
Ruby just kind of snorts a little. I'm sorry, it was right there, and I...
You were in a mindscape going to fight a mind flayer. Of course, you had to take a moment to bully a small child.
What? It was stressful!
Oh,
I figured...
No, go on.
I just never thought you were that short before.
And what else would I have been?
Taller than that?
Well, I did become taller. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. Be right back. I'm sorry.
Is it?
Okay,
I'm back, Fable.
I am back. I have
Welcome
returned.
back. You have
I have
returned.
returned. Where did I leave off?
Where did we leave off? Oh, my brain.
Ruby was talking about how small Antler used to be.
Yeah.
And I think I was the one talking next. What was I saying?
Oh gosh. Something about being like having been
Oh.
small and then taller. Yeah. I don't know.
I know you're aware that some toons do not grow, Ruby, but that does not mean that does not mean other toons do not grow. It does happen.
I guess. I feel like Ruby is kind of like falling quiet as she thinks on that.
Think as she does, Antler's gonna finish up the rest of his food and also tell her to finish her food as well. Do not let the food go to waste.
Yeah.
He'll say as he will take his empty plate and mug to the sink to clean them real quick.
Yeah. Ruby just snarfs down the rest of her breakfast.
In small bites.
She slows down her snarfing.
Antler just kind of shakes his head a little bit as he's cleaning his dishes.
I must stress, even though they have eaten, there's still a lot of leftovers.
God. I think he sees all that.
Ruby went wild.
Suppose we should let the others know that there's free breakfast.
Oh yeah, probably.
I will leave that to you, since you were the one who made it all. And he says as he starts heading towards the door.
Yee.
I think he does Ruby want to say anything before he goes?
I can't really think of anything at the moment, so probably not.
Alright. As Antler gets to the door, he will pause for a moment. Ears twitching a little bit as he's thinking. Before he just ever so slightly, Ruby.
Yeah?
It's as you said, trust is a very strange thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I am more than aware that you heard my name while you were in the mindscape, yes?
I did, yeah.
I would ask...
What about it?
I would ask you not tell it to anyone who is not there.
Ruby nods.
Well, I've been doing that anyway. I figured you've already been doing that for me.
Yes, but... and he seems to really be thinking about this. and you get the sense that again, trust is a very, very strange thing. More than strange for him, it is difficult. It is
Practically alien.
It is not something he has given to anyone.
Oh.
And so far, there's only been one person he has admitted to trusting, and even that person doesn't even know it. But he will turn his head to look at you, not at Ruby Red, but at Elaine, and he will say, "When there is no one else, you may use that name if you wish."
This is me. I'll be dying. Ah!
I am also dying, but I'm trying not to. My mic gain is super high, so I can't yell.
I think Ruby is kind of like, again, quietly stunned, but eventually she does nod.
And Antler will give a nod back and not say anything more, as he will turn and leave the kitchen. And I think
before you can get too far, I think Elaine kind of pipes up. If you want, you could, I don't know, call me my real name.
I think he pauses about halfway out the door, turns his head again towards you, and you just see him quietly nod, and then he leaves. And I don't think Elaine, I don't think you see him for the rest of the day. Not out of avoidance, but because he is in fact mayor and is trying to catch up on work.
Even though Jink is gonna send him to send him to rest very soon.
Oh no, yeah. Like the day after this is the day he goes into town with Xanadu and gets told off. He gets told off by Jenka and basically gets put on a forced vacation by his captain of the guard. Oh, wait, did I say that in game yet? That Jenka actually has been made the new captain of Little Corner Guard.
You have not, but you have now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I like Jenka. I like playing Jenka as an NPC. She's very fun.
Good. We love Jenka.
Yeah, and Carter is her right hand man.
The only valid guard, and also Carter, the only valid guards.
Yeah, they are the only two valid guards, which is why Antler encouraged them to take a promotion.
Yes, good. As they deserve.
Yeah. As former Captain Rusiel had decided to actually step down from his position.
Yee.
What he's doing, yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's doing a bit of soul searching, to be honest. But anyways, for the rest of the day, Antler is busy doing his work, and I don't know, and I imagine Ruby is doing whatever she's doing.
Probably her own thing.
Yeah.
There's probably an adventure with Umi somewhere in there, but we can get to that at a later FPS.
Yeah, later FPS. But we will cut. We will cut to it is now nighttime at Ruindal Castle. Very few torchlights lighting the hallways. Antler is now in his room. He's in bed, dressed and ready to go to sleep, but he is taking some time to read. Actually, I don't think he's reading. I think he's actually looking through the little black book again, and just looking at everything that's happened. Still coming to terms with the fact of the parts of himself that people have now seen.
Mm-hmm. There are no longer secrets.
Nope. There's no longer secrets for this old man. And that's something he has to come to terms with.
Mm-hmm.
How long?
I feel like at some point in the night, maybe, maybe like maybe like a half hour past midnight, I want to say.
Alright.
I'm not even gonna roll stealth.
Yeah.
I'm not even bothering.
Yeah. Does she knock at least?
You know what? I feel like the door starts to like creak open slowly before it frantically shuts again, and then there's a knock.
I think Antler's ears just twitches a little bit before, not even looking up from the book. He's just, come in.
Yeah. Ruby very sheepishly opens the door now, and very quietly closes it behind herself. Hi.
Hello.
I had a bad dream.
Without a word, Antler will just pat the empty side of the bed. I think this is one thing he's gotten used to at this point.
I feel like Ruby perks up at that and immediately is just kind of sheepishly tiptoeing over and hopping up on the enormous bed.
Yeah, it's a king size bed. It's a big bed.
It's a big bed.
It's a big bed, and it's in Antler's new room now on the second floor, which is it's got a window, so it's actually a bit nice. This looks way more like a bedroom than the room below.
Mm-hmm. No wonder he swapped out the rooms.
It's just nice. It's just a much nicer bedroom. There's a fireplace by the there's fireplace at the wall, and on the on the opposite wall there's a bookshelf with a few books. Vanity on one end. It's a bedroom. It's an actual bedroom. And yeah, Antler will just let Ruby come up as he just continues reading.
I feel like Ruby makes herself pretty comfortable. And then after a few beats, she's just doing like the little kid thing where you like scoot closer on the bed. Jostles the mattress a little bit.
Antler continues calmly reading, doesn't give any reaction. That is to say he will not react until how close does Ruby scoot?
I'll be pretty close.
I think eventually
her goal is to slowly give hug.
I think she gets within probably an inch before he finally flicks both an ear and an eye to look down at her. Before he sighs, he will close the book and put it on the nightstand beside the bed. Yes, can I help you?
I think Ruby just gives him a cheeky little grin before giving a little hug.
Ooh. This is going to become a thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh no. Oh woe is me. He will sarcastically complain as he will go from sitting up to laying down in bed, and Ruby, he, it's not as weird. Obviously, it's not as awkward as things have been. I think I think the hugs that happened at the end of the Mindscape game sort of broke the ice. But I saw an opportunity to pun and I did it. But anyways,
You did. You certainly did.
whatever I like to think whatever wall was there between these two was kind of broken at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I mean, honestly, same.
Yeah. So Antler will wrap his arms around Ruby and just hug her back. Adjust the blankets so they're both warm and covered. I expect there to be no more nightmares tonight. I expect you to sleep.
And I can certainly try. It's not like you're getting rid of me, though.
No, I suppose not. I might have something that may help you along. Then again, as you've so often said, you are 14 years old. You're not a child. You wouldn't need such things as a lullaby, I imagine. He's absolutely teasing her, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of like you can feel the pout. She like looks up at him.
Antler's just looking back at her. His ears, again, stone cold expression, but the ears are wiggling a little bit in amusement.
I don't know if I'd say anything like that.
No.
Like you can tell that Ruby wants to say she's 14, but she's not even gonna try.
Yep. And Antler knows this, but he's still waiting.
I think she just kind of puts her face against his chest and doesn't say anything.
Antler.
She's finally given up.
Yeah, Antler will actually chuckle, cause God, this kid, he has. God, yeah, he has. Elaine, as you pout, as you hide your face, basically, you very easily feel him start to hum, and he starts to sing. I'm going to mute real quick. I've just put up a file real quick for you all to listen to. I'm going to mute myself to let this play. Sunrises come, sunsets go, day's bright light, evening's soft glow, all this and more, one day you'll know. But sleep now, my baby dear. Winter's soft snow, spring's cool rain, summer's sweet heat, autumn's ripe grain, the seasons they dance to nature's refrain. But sleep now, my baby dear. All things must pass, each in their turn, a time to grow, a time to burn. When life looks bleak, I hope that you learn, each end brings a new beginning. Sunrises come, sunsets go. Day's bright light, evening soft glow. I love you more than you'll ever know. But sleep now, my baby dear. Sleep now, I'll be right here. And by the end of the lullaby, Elaine, Ansel is holding you much closer than he was before. Just with his chin resting on top of your head, so you can't look up to see his face. Though, Abby, that's where I have to ask, is Elaine even awake by the end of the lullaby?
I don't know.
Do you want to roll for it?
I'm rolling con for it.
Alright. 5. Nope.
Yeah, no, she's out. Just asleep.
Yep, and I think it takes Ansel a bit longer, but eventually he will fall asleep as well. And they both sleep through the night. No nightmares, no interruptions. They sleep all the way till morning in a peaceful and a safe rest. And I think that is where we will end it today. Thank y'all for listening. Yep. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you for listening.
I'm gonna stop the recording now before I start crying myself. Bye-bye. Love y'all.
Bye.